Spain-Green. We have Xander Spain-Green from Programs and Marketing Manager from the Greater Federal Way Chamber of Commerce, Zach Schreiber, Tax Specialist, and Donna Glacken, Benefits Specialist with SharedWork. With that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Xander for any announcements that he has. Welcome, Xander.
Hey, thank you, Thomas, and welcome everybody. I'm glad to see everybody here in this webinar. What SharedWork does is really important, and I think the main thing is just letting people know what is going on, and the only way to do that is with business people like you joining webinars like these so that there's community members who understand and can share that information. Like Thomas said, my name is Xander. I'm the Programs and Marketing Manager for the Chamber of Commerce in Federal Way. I'll drop a couple links here in the chat if you're interested in our calendar membership, or if you have any questions, I'll put my email in the chat and you can reach out to me. But coming up, we've got a couple things. We have our monthly membership meeting on April 1st with the King County Aquatic Center, and April 20th, we have a summit dedicated to destination events. So we'll have speakers including South King Fire, the police department, FWC Local from Seattle, and many more community members to share business tips for how you can prepare for things like the World Cup or any other destination events. But yeah, so for today, we're very happy to kick off the Employment Resource Series. This is the first of at least 4, and they'll be once a month. And you can check out that calendar link that I dropped in the chat if you want to see the ones that are coming up. And so without further ado, I'll hand it back over to you, Thomas.
Thanks so much, Xander. Our first speaker is going to be Zach Schreiber for the UNI Tax and Wage Reporting overview. He'll be going over some of the first slides with you and really valuable information about what they do. Welcome, Zach.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. After I share here, we'll be hearing from SharedWork as well. But first, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about our quarterly unemployment insurance program. So if you want to take us to the next slide, we'll dive right in. So quick overview about the unemployment insurance. Basically, this is a quarterly reporting program, but the first step in order to get an unemployment insurance account set up is to, of course, register your business. When you apply for your state business license, what you do is you indicate on there that you have plans to hire employees. When you indicate that on your business license, the Department of Revenue will send that to ESD and will set up your unemployment insurance account for you. And then you'll get a confirmation letter in the mail that explains how to file your quarterly wage reports and pay those taxes. And that'll also include your annual tax rate notice. There's a few ways to make sure that you control your tax costs. Most of them involve trying to keep your tax rate as low as possible. And in order to do that, you want to avoid penalties. So you want to make sure you're doing things like filing your quarterly reports and paying your taxes on time, notifying us of any changes to your business within 30 days, especially for things like address changes. We want to make sure you're getting your mail. Report any new hires and rehires to us within 20 days if you need an account reinstatement. Anytime you get a benefit charging notice, you want to respond and report the reason for employee separations quickly and accurately. Reply to any requests for information that we send to you, and as needed, attend to any appeal hearings. Next slide, please. A little bit more about those quarterly reports. The quarterly reports are due at the end of the month following the end of the quarter. So, for example, in quarter 1, any wages paid out in January, February, and March are due by the end of April. As you can see on the right side there, we have our reports and their due dates. The same applies for quarter 4. Your October, November, December wages would just be reported in the next year, due by the end of January. We do assess penalties and interest on late payments and late reports. The quarterly tax is calculated by multiplying the taxable wages on those reports by your annual tax rate. You can also make corrections to any filed reports. We call those amendments. You can do that for up to 3 years after filing. Just good to know that any retroactive amendments you make to your reports could affect your ongoing future tax rates. But we have our form at esd.wa.gov to file that paper amendment. We call it 5208D. And of course, any delinquent rates will be assessed for late penalties and interest. Our website, esd.wa.gov/employer taxes, has more information there. Next slide, please. As I've mentioned before, the tax due is calculated by multiplying the taxable wages for the quarter by your annual tax rate. We calculate the rate each year based on average wages in Washington. So this is a taxable wage base. In 2026, the taxable wage base is $78,200. That means that you only pay tax for your employees up to that amount. You still report all of the wages that you paid to your employees, even if they make more than that taxable wage base. But any amount above that, we call that excess wages, and it is not taxed. So just to give a little example of how that works, this year, again, our taxable wage base is $78,200. If the employee makes $75,000 in the year, you would end up paying taxes on that full amount. But if the employee's salary exceeds that, let's say they make $79,000, you pay tax only on the first $78,200, and the remainder would be what we call excess wages, not taxable. Next slide, please. So in general, your tax rate is going to depend on how much your former employees are collecting in benefits compared to the size of your overall payroll. To calculate your tax rate, we add an experience rating based on the average number of employees who received benefits on your account over the past 4 years. The experience rate is currently capped at 5.4%. A shared social tax based on benefits we paid out over the last year that aren't related to any specific employer are also factored in. The flat social tax is currently capped at 1.22%, and the total of those two cannot exceed 6%. Your tax rate can increase to 7% if you get a delinquency rate, which would add another 1%. State employers also pay your federal unemployment taxes of 0.6%, but that's only on the first $7,000 of employees' wages. An important key date, again, is September 30th. That is the deadline to resolve any past due filings or balances to avoid a delinquency rate going into the next year. We mail out those tax rates in December. Next slide, please. I'm going to talk a little bit about something called benefit charges. When one of your former employees opens a claim for benefits, we mail out a document called a benefit charging notice, and that will tell the employer how many wages and hours the business reported for that former employee. You can request relief of those benefit charges by submitting the request to our workflow intake at uifiles@esd.wa.gov, or you can just follow the instructions on the paperwork to respond by mail. You do need to respond no later than 30 days after we send the notice. And there are a few of the reasons that we might grant relief, will include an employee that voluntarily quit, an employee that was discharged for misconduct, or some other business catastrophe that is not ultimately the business's fault. Each quarter, we send employers a statement of benefit charges. It's really common for people to get confused and think that that is a bill. It is not. It's only informing people what unemployment claims were filed during the past quarter, because that data gets factored into your annual tax rate calculation. If you have any questions about your tax rate or benefit charging, you can contact us at 855-829-9243 or email them directly at esdexperiencerating@esd.wa.gov. Next slide, please. We have a service called EAMS, the Employer Account Management Service. You can access it through eServices or Secure Access Washington, and it's used primarily to file your quarterly reports and submit your quarterly tax and wage payments. There is also inside of EAMS an escalated level of permissions called locked services. If you have locked services, you can take advantage of expanded functionality that includes copying data from one quarterly report to the next, saving, viewing, and amending past reports, automatically calculating taxable and excess wages, viewing your payment history, canceling pending payments, viewing other account activity, and controlling other users' access to the account information. In order to get those locked services, you do so from your own Secure Access Washington account. That's important. We see a lot of people sharing like one business account with one another. We're not able to approve locked services for shared accounts, so it does need to be an individual. But getting those locked services gives the owners more control over who has access to their sensitive business information. Again, our website has more information on our page about EAMS and how-to videos for using that system. Next slide. A word about standard occupational classification codes. We call them SOC codes. They are our newest filing requirement. It's a federal coding system of job titles that helps government agencies and private businesses compare occupational data. When you're using EAMS, you're able to look up SOC codes within the system right next to the part where you're reporting their wages. The last column will be for the SOC code, which is 6 digits long. To look up the code, there's a magnifying glass icon that you click, which will pop up a list of all available SOC codes. And then within that, you can use the search bar to search for job titles or job duties to try to find the right code for your employees. You'll enter in the first 6 digits of that code, not including dashes and decimals or hyphens. You'll also want to make sure it ends in a 1. The ones that end in 0 are basically categories of job titles, whereas the ones that end in 1 are the actual individual job title that we require. If you don't use EAMS to file, you can still use an online lookup tool at onetonline.org. If you have any questions, you can call us at the same phone number or email socreporting@esd.wa.gov, and they can help you find the right code for your employees based on their job duties and job title. Next slide, please. Some of our most common questions: how do I file and pay my quarterly taxes? The best first step would be to go to our website, esd.wa.gov/employer-taxes, and there's step-by-step instructions and how-to videos and links to our online filing system. We get questions about billing statements all the time, of course. There's a lot of ways to end up with a bill. It could be unpaid taxes, penalties, interest. Sometimes people will get a bill for a 0 or negative balance due, and that's very confusing. Usually that indicates that we are missing a quarterly wage report. So if there's ever a question there, people can call in and ask about it. People get really confused why we would send them a negative bill, but it's because there is still something missing, even if the billing statement might not be 100% clear about the fact that there's a missing report. For updating your address, closing your account, updating owner officers, we've got forms for all of that. You can fill out the business change form or the owner officer change form for either of those. And you can find both of our forms at esd.wa.gov/employer-taxes, forms and publications. We have a forms and publications library that includes those kinds of documents, as well as other important forms like power of attorney. For people who need to correct their quarterly filings, we would use the amendment process. Again, if you have locked services in EAMS, you can file the amendment electronically. If you don't, that same forms and publications library on our website has the form 5208D, which is your paper filing option for making wage amendments. Next slide, please. I'm going to leave you with some general contact information. 855-829-9243 is your catch-all. That'll take you directly to my team, the Account Management Center. Same with Olympia AMC at esd.wa.gov. And that team is happy to either point you in the right direction or answer any questions you might have about unemployment insurance. If you have questions about benefit charging and tax rates, there's an option on our phone tree for that, or their dedicated email address, ESD Experience Rating. And again, for SOC codes, we have an option on our phone tree or that SOC reporting at esd.wa.gov. And I believe that's it. Next slide, please. And I'll hand it back to Thomas. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Zach, for that valuable information. Zach will be here at the end to answer any of your questions that we have. And that brings us next to Donna Glacken for the SharedWork overview. Welcome, Donna.
Thank you, Thomas. Good morning, everyone. Today I'm excited to share with you Washington's best kept secret, the SharedWork program. First, I'd like to show you a quick video about how SharedWork can work for you. Colin, can you pull that up, please?
It happens to every business. A bump in the road. Maybe demand for your product or services goes down. The market goes in the tank. I don't know. The city decides to tear up your street and divert traffic away from your business for months. All you know is that your business is in a fix, and you've got hard decisions to make. You don't want to lay off staff. They're like family. But what else can you do? The answer? The Washington Employment Security Department's SharedWork program. The SharedWork program saves employers money and employees jobs. Here's how it works. Instead of cutting jobs, you cut hours. Then employees can collect partial unemployment benefits for the hours they've lost. Say an employee's hours are cut temporarily by 50%. In addition to a partial paycheck, the worker will get 50% of his or her regular weekly unemployment benefit. In other words, employers save payroll and hang on to their skilled workforce, while employees keep their jobs and collect unemployment for the hours lost. And the program is so flexible. From week to week, you can change your level of participation, from the number of employees to the number of hours, up to 50%. It's all up to you. Don't think of the SharedWork program as unemployment insurance. Rather, it's employment insurance, a safety net. This is a program that keeps workers employed. This is a program that shows employees that you care. The SharedWork program protects your business during the lean times. That is, until you're ready to contact WorkSource, Washington's employment services system, to start hiring. How successful has the SharedWork program been? More than 96% of business owners who have used it would sign up for the program again, and virtually all would recommend it to other employers. And a large majority even said the program helped them survive the recession. In every business, there are peaks and valleys. When you hit one of those valleys, we'll be here for you. Washington State's SharedWork program. It saves money, it saves jobs. Plain and simple, it works. Here's how to reach us when you're ready to get started.
All right. Next slide, please. Now I'll tell you a little more about SharedWork. So SharedWork is an employer program that helps employers prevent layoffs, gives them the flexibility to retain their employees at reduced hours during their economic downturns. There's many benefits to SharedWork. Employers get to keep their workforce intact during the economic setback. Employees keep their job and get a prorated percentage amount of their unemployment benefits. The program is open to most businesses and industries in Washington State, helps build employee morale, and it's really easy to apply. It takes about 10 minutes, and you can find out more about that on our website at esd.wa.gov/SharedWork/apply. Next slide, please. Okay, little overview. SharedWork allows the employer to reduce the employee's usual work hours for anywhere from 10 to 50%, and your workers collect unemployment benefits to replace part of their lost wages. A SharedWork plan lasts up to 1 year, and at the end of that year, you can reapply. There's no limit to any SharedWork plans. You can apply every year. We have several employers that are on year after year. A SharedWork plan does affect your experience rating, but laying off workers who apply for unemployment benefits affects your experience rating even more. So that's something to think about. You can hire new employees, and you do not have to include them on your SharedWork plan. So it's very flexible and up to you. Okay, and then we have a little, just a few eligibility requirements for SharedWork. For businesses to qualify, they need to be legally registered in Washington State with an active employment security number. They must have a minimum of 2 permanent employees who qualify for unemployment on the plan at all times and continue providing employee benefits you provided prior to being on the SharedWork plan. Next slide, please. Okay, there are 2 easy ways to apply for SharedWork. The first way is by e-services. You will need to have a secure Washington account and with lock services in the employer management system that we heard Zach talk about earlier. Once you sign into e-services, you will use the same username and password you had for your SAW account. From the e-services, you will choose Apply for SharedWork under the I Want To tab. Remember to completely fill out both the employer application and participant list, and the participant list must contain at least 2 employees who qualify for unemployment insurance. Next slide, please. Okay. The second way to apply is by filling out the employer plan application and participant list that can be found on the SharedWork website. You will need to save both forms to your desktop as the information is not saved when you fill them out on the website. You can see those are pretty basic, easy to fill out. Okay. Slide, please. You want to make sure you sign and date the application. It's really important to rename the application and participant list with your business name, and then you can upload the forms to our secure upload site or fax them to 800-701-7754. And please keep the participant list in the Excel format for quicker processing. Once approved for SharedWork, you will receive a welcome email explaining the next steps, a link to a video on how to maintain your SharedWork plan, and all the needed forms and employee guide. It's just that easy. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, and here are a few helpful links for you to use or to share with other business owners. First is the bump in the road video we watched at the beginning of the presentation, where to find the SharedWork employer application and participant list, and the other forms and employee guides and employer guides for SharedWork. Okay, next slide, please. We are available for questions. You can find more information at esd.wa.gov/SharedWork. You can also call us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 4, and Tuesday and Thursdays from 8 to noon at 800-752-2500. We have different options here for claimants to start or restart their claim. Employers with existing plan questions. Option 3 is for new plan application inquiries. So this is where you as a new employer would want to call in if you had more questions or wanted to get a quick overview again, or find out quickly if you may apply or may qualify. Option 4 is for employees if they were instructed to call while they're filing their weekly claim. And option 8 is for Spanish. We do have Spanish on staff, so they're available to help our Spanish claimants. And we also have 2 email boxes that you can contact us at. For the plan questions, it's SharedWork Plan Sec at esd.wa.gov. and for claim questions, it's sharedwork@esd.wa.gov. And I'd like to thank you for your time today, and we look forward to assisting you and your employees soon.
Thank you so much, Donna.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to welcome back Xander and Zach as well. We'll now have open mic Q&A, or if you'd prefer to ask your questions in the chat, we'll be monitoring that as well. But just before we get started, I do want to have one question for each of you. I'll start with you, Zach. What is one thing you'd like the audience to take away from our presentation today?
Great question. I certainly don't expect anyone to memorize everything that I shared today. I'm going to drop it in chat, actually. This is, again, the Account Management Center contact information, 855-829-9243, or olympiaamc@esd.wa.gov. Any questions you have about unemployment insurance, we'd be happy to help you out, and or try to help you find an answer if it's somewhere that you need to be redirected to. So don't be afraid to reach out if you have any questions at all.
Thanks so much, Zach. And Donna, what's one thing you'd like to make sure the audience takes away today?
Okay, I just want to let everybody know that SharedWork is really easy to apply for. It's a great program. It's easy to maintain, and our knowledgeable agents are here to assist you. I don't want you to feel like you're alone or think that this was overwhelming. Sometimes a lot of information real quickly seems overwhelming, but we are here to help you. Just call, email us, and we look forward to assisting you. Thank you.
Thanks, Donna. And Xander, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, I think Donna said it best earlier. This is Washington's best kept secret. That's why I was saying earlier, I'm really thankful to all the presenters here today for spending the time to share this information. SharedWork really is easy to use, and more importantly, the website that they have up breaks everything down for you very, very well. They make it very easy to understand, and there are plenty of resources that they put out for free. And I can say from experience that speaking to not just the people here, but everybody else at their department are very knowledgeable, very patient, very kind, and we are very lucky to have them. And so, like Donna said, you are never alone when ERS is around, and you're never alone when the chamber is around, because we have partners like them. So thanks everybody for joining who's here, and then thank you all, Zach, Thomas, Cheryl, and Donna, for being here and taking the time to educate us today.
Thanks, Xander. We'll go ahead and open up to questions. If you have any questions for any of us, go ahead and just let us know or type it in the chat. And if anyone is trying to speak, I do believe it does keep you muted, or you have to manually unmute yourself from the meeting.
Hey, we've got a question.
Sure, go right ahead.
What would be some things that would disqualify an employer from participating in the SharedWork program?
Okay, this is Dawn. I'll go ahead and answer that. So if they didn't have two permanent employees, because you must have 2 permanent employees on the plan, you have to be registered in Washington State. You have to have an employment security number. Your employees cannot be seasonal. We can do a short plan during the your regular time, but not during your normal off time. Employees cannot be piece workers. Corporate officers can't be on SharedWork, but that doesn't disqualify your business as long as you have other employees to put on there. There's not a whole lot that we don't see a whole lot being disqualified. There's always always a way to approve a plan. Did you have something in mind?
No, I was just wondering if there was something over and above what was in there.
Oh, okay.
You know, I think we're considered a large company at this point with more than 50 employees, so I think that we would qualify no matter what.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone else have any more questions at all for our speakers? We're happy to answer anything that you think of. All right, we have a question in the chat. Wanting to know, is this a program or plan that we have to pay for? And is there a certain percentage of employees' wages that would be covered by the shared work program, or is it a different case by case?
Okay, let me address the pay for it. Shared work is free to apply for. The only thing you don't have to pay for it, but it'll affect your experience rating. So, but not as much as if you've fully laid off your employees. And then, is there a certain percentage of employees' wages that would be covered by shared work program? It would be different by case because each employee has a different weekly benefit amount. And so depending on the hours that they were reduced, we pay a percentage of the weekly benefit amount. So it could be different depending on how many hours you work each employee. And there is information on our website to figure that out. But if you have more questions about how that would work specifically for your employees, you can give us a call and we can look into that for you.
Thanks for that, Donna. Is there anyone else have any other questions for anyone? All right. Well, if anyone does think of anything else, don't hesitate to contact us. We've put our contact information in the chat, and it will be available in the slide deck as well next week. I'd also like to announce the next webinar all about shared work on April 16th at 10 a.m. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us today and all of our speakers. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.